what I need people to understand too is like, we are a community, but we're a community for one, because of the women that fought for us to be where we are today. But we're also a community that we have multiple identities. You have sexual orientation, you have gender identity.
Right.
And a lot of times, like, what I want to educate in this moment, particularly cis, no, even the gay community, when we talk about the straight community, I think that people have made straight synonymous with being like cis heterosexual people because that's what they're meaning, right? But
Right.
sometimes language has evolved, you do have to use language. And so me as a trans woman, yes, I was born male, yes, I have transitioned and am transitioning to be into who I am today, but that
Right.
does not say I can't be heterosexual identified. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why when we identify things, it's cis hetero, like the cis for me, because I'm very big on language because language impacts my life, language impacts my community.
There's your pronouns and stuff. Right.
Right, pronouns, the way people talk about you, the way people view you, perspectives, opinions, all of those things. Like language is heavily impacted in our community, and so I need people to know that too. Also, when we get to the march, definitely shout out to Antonio Brown for doing the march. That the idea was dope. It was great. But I've talked to him about this, so this isn't new information. But that day was very triggering for me.
Okay.
And the reason why it was triggering for me was because, first and foremost, like I mentioned earlier, when we were there, we were gathered outside, we were waiting for it to start. Then the band was out there for entertainment purposes, just to provide some music, get the people excited, pumped up. And they started chanting "No justice, no justice, no peace." Another police chant, I can't really remember what it was. And so all of my nerves that I had went from being nervous to say anything to just being angry. And that was because, like I said, when Black trans went, first of all, I'm there to honor my trans ancestors because that's who started the movement, right?
Okay.
And so when I'm in this space and I hear people chanting "No justice, no peace," for me, that doesn't register or translate to me because y'all not saying that when we're being murdered. Y'all not saying that.
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying? And when I talked in my speech, I say, I see all of the Black Lives Matter posters, and that's great because Marsha was a Black person. You know what I'm saying? So we are Black in point blank period. But to that day, 51st anniversary of Stonewall was about pride. To me, it was about pride. It was about us honoring our ancestors that started the movement that we have today.
Right.
And I feel like what happened was the people that were there, that had the mics, that were leading the crowd, they were trying to make it about something that wasn't necessarily pride, and I wasn't here for it. And
right.
One of the big things that I had an issue with is when we're marching on the streets and we're talking about, we're yelling out names, saying people's names, and none of those names are trans women of color. None of those names were Toni McDade. None of them.
Wow.
I had to visibly not even be, because I was upset, not even be, because it's not performative for me. It was how I felt. But I had to tell Antonio, I don't understand what's going on in this moment because I feel like I'm just at a Black Lives Matter protest, which is fine. We need to be protesting because all of our Black lives matter, right? But today is about pride. So we need to honor those people in our community, our very specific and special community, and say their names today.
Right.
So I heard Breonna Taylor and I heard Rashard Brooks, and all of that is valid. But when I hear those names and I don't hear Marsha P. Johnson, and I don't hear Sylvia Rivera, and I don't hear Dominique Phelps and Rhea Milton and Bryla Stone and Nina Pop and Toni McDade, I have an issue with that.
It feels like it feels like their lives were devalued on that.
And the same, exactly. And I had just did a speech, Mikey, telling them people, when we are at Stonewall, when we're talking about Stonewall, do not forget these women. Do not forget these women. And what happened? We went on a march and y'all silenced us again. Y'all silenced us again, and y'all didn't even say our name.
It sounds like bad allyship.
That was when I mean to tell you, Mikey, I wanted to cry. I wanted to go home. I was very triggered. And like Antonio just kept telling me, Toni, this is how it starts. This is how communication, this is how education starts. This is how it starts. And while that was very true, and I thank Antonio because he organized it, for sure, but the people that he had working with him or that was working on it, they needed to be more versed within the community to know that what today really was about and represented for us.
Got you. Got you.
We can even look back on the 1963 March on Washington. Bayard Rustin organized that. He was a black
Gay
gay
man.
man.
Openly gay, yes.
And they try to erase him.
Right. Right. One of the greatest writers of American history, James Baldwin, was gay. And he still had a high regard. Didn't want to talk about his sexuality at all. I mean, I completely get it. Invisibility is a serious problem. One of the things I do like that we are starting to see in entertainment is more trans visibility. I'm really, really, really enjoying that. You know, Pose definitely knocked a lot of doors down. And now, you know, you're about to be on Starz' newest series, P-Valley. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? I'm excited for you.
Also, and I do want to mention this because I don't want to leave this out. I want to thank again Councilman Antonio Brown, because when I voiced my frustrations about what was happening with him.
It wasn't with him.
It wasn't with him. He made sure that my voice was heard. He made sure that some of the chanting was changed. We even stopped for a moment. He gave me the blowhorn, and I even said some names. I even messed up a couple of names because I was so frustrated. But he gave me the opportunity to make sure that we were not silenced in that moment. So shout out to you, Antonio Brown. Thank you for that, and I appreciate you.
Right, because let me tell you. Let me tell you. No, because I want to pause right there real quick too. Yeah, definitely, Antonio, thank you for that. Because I didn't see anybody else stepping up to do that. And like me and you both know, we are around a lot of Black LGBT creators and personalities and speakers. And I haven't seen very many of them out at the forefront of this thing doing anything about it or saying protesting. And for me, you can't say that you support your community or your population and it's a certain part of your population. You got to support everybody. I know a lot of these people call you their friends, they call you their family, but they're showing up to speak about the threats to your very existence. And the answer is no. You have to question the complicitness of their silence.
Right.
I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just going to say that. You can't just talk about it and make the videos and web series about it. You actually got to be the fuck about it. And that's all it is.
You got to show up.
You show up and show the fuck out. Let's just say it like that. But let's move on to P-Valley. So, P-Valley. I seen the trailer. Let me tell you something. I love a good strip club, girl. I don't care where it is. I keep my ass down at the Blue Flame. I got a relative that I'm closely related to, and his mama came from the Foxy Lady over here. So so talk to me about P-Valley.
So interesting fact, real quick. I've actually never been to a strip club. I've been to a male review. I've been to a male review.
Okay.
With male exotic dancers. So maybe if that was a strip club or my strip club experience, I've been to that.
Okay.
But I've never been to Magic City or Blue Flame and all of these places. Or back home, the Pink Slip and all of that good stuff. So I just wanted to say that. So I'll get my strip club experience in the real life outside of action one of these good days. So P-Valley, in 2018, Shawnee's Williamson emailed me or sent me some information about, hey, they're auditioning for a show called P-Valley for this character called Uncle Clifford. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because by the name you're like, what?
Right.
So I was like, okay, so I submitted for it. Okay. And then legendary Patrick Ian Pope emailed me back and was like, hey, we had heard about you via the community, and we wanted to, give you extend this opportunity to audition, essentially.
Right.
Sent me the breakdown of the character, sent me the side, told me how he wanted, as far as accent-wise, to deliver it. I did that. I got a call back to audition in front of him and the creator, Katori Hall, and that was in 2018. And so I didn't get it. Shout out to Nico. Shout out to Nico. I love you, Nico. I really do. Nico plays Uncle Clifford now. So I didn't get it. And then fast forward to 2019, I don't do background anymore. Okay. But I was like, I really want to go see this show. I really want to go do background so I can see what's going on in the show. Because I really didn't have all the pieces of what was going on. Because it was a playwright, a play, and now TV series. And I did background. I seen Patrick. I was like, oh, I'm a little I'm a little intimidated by Passion. He's real tall and things, and legendary. I'm like, let me.
All know is Arkansas.
Right, let me go sit down. But when we were on set, Katori came on set, and I was in my head all day like, is she gonna come on set? Is she gonna come on set? And I seen her, and I was sitting at the bar, and she literally sat right in front of me down the steps because that's where production was sitting because they were filming towards the stages in the strip club. And I was like, should I go say something? Should I go say something? And I toyed with it. And I say, forget it. I audition in front of this lady. She know who I am, So
Right.
that's what I have to say to give myself some confidence and courage. So I went up to her and I said, hey, Katori. She turned around and she was like, hi, I've been thinking about you and da-da-da. And we talked. She's like, I got to get you on this show. And kind of like, it felt like it was alluding to maybe a future season because this season was already written and now they're filming it. And I was just grateful to have the conversation. I was grateful that she was thinking of me and even remembered me. This was like, I want to say a Tuesday, Thursday. Mikey, that following Monday, one of the biggest casting directors, Tara Fieldstein, I hope I'm saying her name right, emailed me saying, hey, Toni, Katori has added a role to this episode, and she wanted to know if you was available and interested. What? Are you serious? Of course I'm available and interested. Didn't care if I was planning a trip to China. It's canceled now. So it's canceled. Like, Japan, China, all of the good places. I'll see y'all another time. And so I was gagging because first of all, she kept her word, and I was also gagging because it was sooner than I ever even expected that to happen. And when I went, I learned about my character. Y'all, we'll see it on when the episode plays out. It's episode 5. So I think that episode, based on how it'll be airing weekly, will air in like early August.
Okay.
But it was a dope experience. It was a really dope experience. I love Nico. Nico had been advocating for me since we first physically met, and we've just been talking ever since. I love Nico. I love Katori. And thank you, legendary Patrick and Poe, for originally reaching out to me about it. And I'm gagging. I'm really gagging.
Because the show is just about a strip club, or is it just different types of strippers? It's just like what's the
the show is about the lives of these women that are strippers in a strip club from their perspective. Because when we go to, because I've been to a strip club, when we go to strip clubs, all we see is these women performing and, being free within their bodies and all of these great things. But we don't really get to their story to know them and who they are outside of these walls. Also, we don't always know what's going on behind the scenes as well within these spaces. And so this show is really talking about these women, say their names, who they are, where they come from, what's going on in their real lives. And Uncle Clifford being the character that's a non-binary character that goes by she, her pronouns, and very expressive in how she dresses, and in her feminine look and all of the things. She's the owner of the strip club, so she's like the mother to these women that are performing in her club. She's the mother, she's their protector, and so yeah, that's essentially what it's about. It's about the lives of these women that are in these clubs that are,
I'm excited for the perspective. I'm excited.
When I mean to tell you, Mikey, I'm really, really excited. They actually showed a sneak clip on what was it? It was one of the fests, and it was a sneak clip of like the first few minutes of the first episode, and it's gonna be lit. It's going to be lit.
And when is the premiere date for P-Valley?
P-Valley premieres Sunday, July 12th on Starz. So make sure y'all have y'all Starz subscription, y'all Starz app. I'm just excited to watch the whole entire show as just a fan of Katori, her work. Katori, she's a legend to me, point blank, period. I don't give nobody. She's a legend. So I'm just excited.
I'm really proud of you. I'm going to pray that there's going to be a season 2. We're going to put that out in the universe. And then season 2 will have you as a contract character. Main character. Up front.
What I know about Katori is she is a woman of her word. And the conversations we've had, I'm just going to say, I just hope the universe and God aligns with how she feels. Let's say that.
Let's do that. We're going to touch and agree on it. We're just going to.
Right. Glory.
All the hands up, be like, touch and agree. We got a virtual touch and agree.
Right.
That is awesome. I'm really happy for you, Toni. I've seen you do nothing but but grow. And you stay out of mess, you stay out of nonsense, you know, you about your business, and I love that. Continue to be that way.
Thank
Please
you.
continue to be that way. Last thing,
Mm-hmm.
how can someone like me who doesn't identify as trans be a good trans ally? What are some things we can
the best piece of information, or the best piece of information or advice I can give is show up. You have to show up, but when you show up to listen, show up to learn, show up to be able to learn and then educate other people. Don't fall into ignorance. And I'm all about, Mikey, educating. I'm about home first, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got to educate my own community first before I can really go out and really tackle the world and what the world has to say and what the world is doing. Because if we are the only ones fighting for us against everybody, that can be overwhelming. So if we have a whole community of people, then our community needs to support us, but our community doesn't always support us. Our community doesn't always have the knowledge, the education, and Google is free. Google is free. Also, we as trans women and men and gender non-conforming folks, we are here. Ask us. Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation.
You've always been here too. You've always
been here. It don't cost you nothing to have a conversation. It don't cost you nothing to have a conversation. So when you choose to live in ignorance and when you choose to be foolish, like, for a quick example, I was just talking to my friend Jonathan. He was telling me he was on a status the other day because somebody, a gay person, made a comment that The Chi is turning into a gay show. Now, mind you, The Chi, for the first 2 seasons, one of the characters, the mother of a character, she's always been a lesbian. Yeah. Always. Lena Waithe is the creator. You think she's not going to represent her community on her show? Excuse me?
Right.
So it's like, that's always been there. But now you make that comment because now they have a trans character on the show. And then you make that comment.
Wow.
But you're from our community. So that's the stuff that I'm talking about.
Community. Maybe it's a population. We got to do better about that. I'm going to just leave it there. But you know what, Toni? Thank you so much for your time. I love you. Anything I can do to support you, you just let me know. I got your back.
Honestly though, thank you, Mikey, because from jump, even from starting from Twisted, when we first met, like, you've always just been supportive of our community and supportive in general. And like, let me also say this, right, Mikey? Mm-hmm. When you have lists like Atlanta's within our LGBT industry, and when you have lists about actors this, and at the time, let me say that when I was heavily working within our community, because I have since not, but at the time, when you don't add me or even reference me being one of the trans women that was in this community, starting on shows like Twisted and The Girls and Eden's Garden in Atlanta, repping for our community, and all you see is these cis gay men. That's all you see. I have a problem with that. And that's part of the reason why I stopped working with a lot of our community, because I'm like, y'all don't even see our lives. Y'all don't even value who we are. Y'all don't even like to tell our stories. And when y'all are trying to tell our stories, it's foolish because y'all not including us in the writer's room. So we have to do better as a community. But what I say is I thank you for always including me in things, whether it was the best thing I never had, whether it was the actors list. Thank you. Because that means a lot coming from my own community. When I look out and I'm like, they could care less. Because it is production companies out here that can care less about us. They can care less about writing shows for us or about us or including us in their shows. They can care less. And I'm just going to say that. So I thank you for being somebody in the community that does believe that Black trans lives matter, because you have shown that time and time again, and I really, really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, love.
I love you too.
God bless. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Deuces.